As the college football world remembers legendary coach Lou Holtz, I spoke with one of his former players about the lasting impact he had on his life. Former Notre Dame defensive lineman Paul Grosmanis played under Holtz at the University of Notre Dame, but he says their relationship didn't end when his football days were over. Grosmanis says the two stayed in touch through the years, celebrating birthdays, sharing phone calls for advice, and most recently, seeing one another this past fall in Fayetteville during the Arkansas-Notre Dame game. Grosmanis says over the last couple of days, he's been reflecting on some of his core memories with Coach Holtz.
I remember one story in particular, and this one really, Coach always knew people, where they came from, who they were, and how to touch them on a personal level. And he knew how to communicate with them. And I remember my freshman year, and freshman year for everybody was a struggle, academically and to say the least. I struggled academically my freshman year at Notre Dame, and I remember he called me into his office. It was a 5:30 phone call, 5:30 in the morning phone call from his secretary, saying, "Coach wants to see you at 6 a.m." And I go in there, and boy, does he, I mean, he hits me right at the core. He says, "You're a first generation American. Your mom and dad came over here by boat, and you're the first one to be able to go to college and get a college degree. And right now you're letting them down, and your ancestors, your aunts and uncles, like you're letting, not just me and your teammates down, but you're letting your family down." And boy, I left out of there just a puddle of tears and sobbing, and I turned, to say the least, I turned things around. I never would have guessed at 18 years old that he would still be involved in my life when, I'm in my early 50s. Like that's pretty amazing. And so I'm very thankful for that. And for my youngest son, River, to be able to see that and experience that. And even he said to me last night, when he saw Coach's face on TV, he said, "Dad, the coach passed away." And I said, "Yeah, he did." And he said, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, "But it was so cool getting to meet him." And I'm thankful. I'm thankful that we were able to do that.
He also remembers sharing the news with Coach Holtz that his daughter Lainey would be attending the University of Arkansas.
This was going back a good couple of years ago, and I actually found on eBay an old Lou Holtz doll from when he was coaching at Arkansas. And so we had a meeting. As a matter of fact, it was one of his birthday parties he had a couple of years ago. And I brought that to his birthday party. And he was like, "What's this for?" I said, "Well, this is where Laney's going now." And he just shook his head and he said, "Oh, woo pig suey." We had a good laugh over it. And he said, in all respect to Arkansas, he said, "Those are some of the greatest football fans out there." And he still says that today.
Yes, we are. Well, before tip-off of the Arkansas-Texas game in Bud Walton last night, fans took a moment to honor Coach Holtz, a true Razorback legend.